Okay, can anyone hear me? Okay, awesome. So yeah, OBS doesn't want to show my face, my webcam anymore. That's an issue that, yeah, I'm not sure why it does this, but I'll have to reset my computer when we get to the break. Okay. I hope you enjoyed your stickers ad, and we'll go ahead and get going again. All right. So feel free to read the text, the captioning here if you can't quite hear my voice. Okay. So we've got the player, we've got our desired position is game object component all set up. The target name has been set to player, and we're just going to test this out, okay? We're going to be watching the scene view in particular to see how this agent kind of moves around. And then we'll do a couple more things if this works out, okay? All right, there we go. Look at it. So we can move this block around, and the agent every second will update its pathing to take it in that direction. If we put it on the other side here, it knows exactly how to navigate this nav mesh in order to get to the location that it wants. So, I mean, this is a pretty convincing already AI for at least following something around, and this took about 5 minutes, and far less if I wasn't explaining it to you, okay? Now, there are a couple of things that I want to do. One, just because it's really, really cool, I would like to visualize the path that the character has in mind. We can do that really easily via the onDrawGizmos function. If you have some complex mechanics in your game that you want to visualize as you work on them, as the game's being played, then you can use this function. This function has a bunch of really cool utilities in it for letting you draw inside of the scene view. So here's an example. We would like to get and visualize the path that this agent has in mind. So what we can do is we can say, hey, if our agent has a path, let's go ahead and, if it doesn't have a path, we'll go ahead and bolt. So if it's equal to null, then we're going to go ahead and just get out of here, get out of this function. Otherwise, though, let's go ahead and iterate through that path. So I equals 0, I is smaller than agent, that path, that corners. This is essentially the vertices in our path, in an array. So we got to do dot length. And then we're going to go ahead and iterate through it, okay? So we'll iterate through all the vertices or corners in our path. Now we could go ahead and draw a line. So let's go ahead and go gizmos.drawLine. Where do we want to draw a line to? It requires a location from and a location to. So let's go ahead and grab the first part of our path, the first corner here, and we're going to draw to the next one, whatever I is. So corners, I plus 1, okay? And there we go. This is going to cause an out-of-bounds error if we go too far, so we don't want to go to the exact end of the array. We want to go to almost the end. Okay, we're going to do one more thing. I want to draw a sphere at the location of these individual vertices. So we'll go ahead and draw a sphere in here, and then we'll make the radius of that sphere 0.25. Okay. Now let's go ahead and watch this again, and let's see what we see. Okay. So we're gonna kind of walk around here. All right. Let's look at our enemy one more time just to make sure it's okay. All right. So we'll play our game. And there we go, look at that. So we can now actually see, and I'm gonna make our enemy walk a little bit slower so we can appreciate it more. But when we move our goal, our little target, our player around, we can actually see the path as it updates. And if we obscure the player behind some sort of obstacle, then we can actually see what the path is going to be, okay? And what the vertices of that path are. Okay, let's do another thing here. I want to quickly update this enemy, and let's speed to like 2. Let's update the prefab here, and then I want to put way more of these enemies in. So let's do something like this. Move it up out of the ground. This up and out of the ground. Okay. let's see how this goes. Draw sphere draws spheres, as you would guess. So if you look at the scene view here, we can see the path that each agent has planned to get to our player over here. Draw sphere is put in just so that we can see the vertices, the individual kind of corner points of this path. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and watch and move this little person around. Watch everyone update. Okay. All right, so some are going in one direction, some are going the other direction. There's another component in here that's going to be pretty useful to us. So one of the weaknesses of a navigation mesh is that if we move this object, then we're not going to get our mesh to be updated. So we can take our player and we can get our characters to walk, but they're still going to walk around the center area as if this big object is still there. And that doesn't look very good, okay? So something that we can do is we can create a game object that uses called the nav mesh obstacle. So let's go ahead and create another cube. We're going to go ahead and give this cube a new color. We'll bring it up here. What kind of color do we want here? Do we have a... Here we go. So create material. Let's go ahead and make this a yellow. Okay? No, we got to keep the color palette. So we're going to grab green. We're going to bring it over to yellow here. And then we're just going to adjust the hue in this color wheel. Okay? All right. So we've got now our yellow here, or maybe you'd call it gold. We're going to make it a little bit bigger, I think. And then we're going to use this block. We're going to make it an obstacle. Let's name it obstacle. This is going to be kind of a real-time obstacle. Something that can move around and agents will route around it automatically. We'll give it the nav mesh obstacle component. And it looks just about fine. We'll click carve. I believe this means it wants to update constantly, even while it's moving. And we'll go ahead and play the game and we'll see how this works, okay? Hopefully, we can move this obstacle around and it will kind of change the path that our characters take. Okay, so let's go ahead and stick this right in here, right? This character tries to kind of navigate around it when we do that. Let's go ahead and move our player to the other side here. Move our player to the other side, and then we'll pause the game, and we'll put this little guy right in the way here. Sometimes it doesn't work super well. I think there are ways to get higher quality obstacle avoidance, but hopefully this will do okay. Oh, look at that. They routed around it. Right? Yeah, so that works pretty well. So anyway, if you have like a moving wall, a wall that goes back and forth in real time, like when the player hits a switch or something, or maybe a door, then you probably want to have that door game object use this nav mesh obstacle component, and you want to click the little carve checkbox so that when you do move it, it updates the nav mesh. Okay? All right. So I think that's just about everything that I want to show you in terms of nav meshes. But it can be extremely powerful. And while it might not be super satisfying to not kind of know the mathematics that power and algorithms that power this underlying technology, we'll talk a little bit about how these tools are powered later in the course when we do our Games and AI lecture, okay? And a reminder that many of the techniques that are at use under the hood here can be learned and studied in the EECS 492 Artificial Intelligence course. Okay, which at least when I took it was all about different kind of classical search and heuristic search algorithms. Okay, does anyone have any questions about this before we jump to the next topic? Any questions, team? I wish you could see me here in the corner, but OBS just, if it crashes, it often just disables my webcam. It just doesn't want to have any of that. Not sure why, but that's open source for you, I guess. Yeah, it's tough. College, undergraduate career often feels like it's going by really slowly. until suddenly it's over, and you wish you had more time for courses. Okay, so I think what I'd like to do, I would like to stop right here. I would like to take our 5-minute break a little bit early. I'm going to reset the stream. I'm going to reset my computer and hopefully get us working again with a webcam. Okay? All right. So I will see you all in about 5 minutes. Regretfully, you won't have any music. However, you can turn on your own music. Okay? Okay. See you in 5.